Welcome to This Week in Warframe, a series where I keep you updated on the past week of Warframe, from announcements made by DE that don't necessarily warrant their own videos to community fan art, posts, and updates. So without further ado, let's go over these announcements and news from the 15th of July to the 22nd. Starting this week's episode off, we had Devstream 113 on Friday. So starting it off for console players, they announced that the leftovers of the console Tennogen round 12 that you guys didn't get will be coming in the next update. And they also stated that the Prime Vault Relics, so the upcoming Prime Vault that'll be releasing on the 24th this month, will be dropping in the Void just to spice things up. Now, at the start of the stream, they also showed off the first version of the We All Live Together song, so if you want to hear the first rendition of it, go to the stream and I will leave a link in the description. They also showed off Vauban Deluxe in gameplay form, and he looks so fucking clean. They also showed off Nidus Deluxe in his base form while he is out on the plains, and Rebecca did state it may be coming this week, so look forward to that. They also talked a bit about the Relay Reconstruction event. Sheldon did state that it would be a mini-event, so it wouldn't be this massive operation. They also touched on Fortuna progression, and they also acknowledged how the Plains of Eidolon is extremely grindy and time-consuming, and they did also say that they were looking at reducing some of the grind in the Plains of Eidolon, as they're doing it for the Fortuna and Vallis update. They also said that Cetus and Fortuna would have kind of like a crossover in terms of progression, so that's also nice. They also said that Fortuna would release sometime between late summer and early fall. That's their current time window. RailJack, of course, will still be separate to the release of Fortuna and Vallis. The new war has no estimated date of arrival, so don't expect that anytime soon. Fortuna will have the Quills, the Quill Syndicate, which of course is the lovely vendor with the amp. The Spider Orbs will have different mechanics to that of the Eidolons, of course. However, they will be active all the time. They won't have a time window like the Eidolons, and will instead just be roaming around Vallis. They touched on Companions 2.0 just for a little bit, and said that they will release the changes over time instead of doing it in one giant bulk. The K-Drives will be customizable, and you'll be able to make your own out of different parts at the K-Drive vendor, who of course will be in Fortuna. They also said that the K-Drive will work on water, so you will be able to hover over it. They said that the tricks you do on the K-Drive will provide you some standing, and there will also be a lot more tricks on launch of the Vallis and Fortuna update. For those who are wondering if Archwing will be usable on Vallis, it will be, and they're also making the K-Drive available on the Plains of Eidolon as well. They will also be removing the charges from the Skywing Archwing unit, and you'll be able to just spawn it out of the blue. Same thing goes for the K-Drive, it will not require charges. While we're talking about movable objects, they were attacked by this General Grievous motorbike type Corpus vehicle, so we'll be seeing some of those around Venus as well, which is pretty cool. They also said that Vallis will have a bounty wanted system, where the more units you kill out on the landscape, the more the Corpus will recognize your presence and try to attack and find you. So basically the cop system from GTA or any racing game ever. They showed off a bit of Vlad and how his abilities have changed since we last saw him. So his first ability will now convert enemies to your minions instantly, it won't have a time tied to it. His second ability will provide armor to him, and any enemy that damages that armor will then be stunned upon impact. Killing your converted minions will also drop Eidolon traps, which upon an enemy walking inside of them will convert that enemy. His fourth ability is now like a Battlist ability where he'll spin and shoot out lasers from his hand, and his third ability is still that wave version of Wukong's Cloud Walker. For those wondering if Venus will have a day and night cycle, I touched on that earlier. It won't, it'll just be adjustments to the lighting of the landscape, and you'll still be able to hunt down the spider bosses no matter what. They also touched on Melee 3.0 as well. They said that they will be showing it off in the next Devstream. This one was more or less going after the hype from the Tennogen 2018 reveal. They showed off a bit of concept art for the animals you'll be hunting using the Echo Lures. So for those interested in that, I chucked a little slideshow up during that whole little segment. Now on to RailJack. As I said before, it will be releasing separate to Fortuna and Vallis. As shown in the demo, you'll be able to prioritize shields over weapons, engines over shields, and vice versa. Now RailJack, while focused on co-op play, will be accessible to solo players, and those players who want to be playing solo will be able to unlock modules for the RailJack ship, where the weapons will have its own AI and start shooting enemies RailJack will also be tied to clans, as players will have to research and build a dock for the ship as well as the upgrades and systems for those ships. RailJack will also be an additional system on top of your orbiter, so you'll be able to choose which one you want to spawn in, going off of what Steve stated on Twitter. Also, each faction will be receiving updates, additions, and changes to their ship designs and tile sets so that they are compatible with RailJack when it does go live, and so there's multiple variants of the Corpus, Grineer, and Infested ships. Now, as I stated during that recap, the Prime Vault will be opening on July 24th, and it will be coming with Nyx Prime, Rhino Prime, Boltor Prime, Hikau Prime, Anchorus Prime, and the Skindo Prime. As for the cosmetics, it will be coming with the Targis Prime armor set, the Noru Prime Syandana, the Vallis, the Distiller Extractor Prime, and of course the Prime Glyphs. We also received an update on PC, which was 23.1. It came with Tennogen round 13, so we have the Nova Corpus skin, the Excalibur Ronin, Loki Kadama, Necros Grax, the Zephyr Strafe, Excalibur Exaltation, Banshee Blade of the Lotus, Rhino Blade of the Lotus, Oberon Blade of the Lotus, and Trinity Blade of the Lotus. There's one helmet, that's the Necros Ion, and a bunch of Syandanas. There's the Icarius Syandana, Kunshu, Sephirim, Shirahoshi, Sildarg, and Sideko. There's 3 weapon skins, the Afria Polearm, Eisen Sword, and Ogun Hammer, and there is one Lisette skin, and that is the Protege Lisette skin. As for the additions that came in the update, the Sacrifice can now be replayed for those who want to do that, and while replaying the quest, you can get 2 of the quest songs for your Somachord, just by going around the tiles while you're doing the missions and grabbing the fragments using your Codex scanner. There was also one change that was made during this update, and that was making it so an Incubator Core is rewarded to the player upon completion of an Earth-to-Mars junction, just to make the Howl of the Kubrau quest easier. There was of course more fixes, and they're up on your screen if you want to read them here while we're transitioning. So there was also hotfix 23.1.1. The additions, they added experimental IPv6 support for chat settings, so if you want to enable that, go into your settings in the chat menu and enable it if you can. They also added an open wing animation to the Icarius Syandana, and some more Tennogen changes and fixes as well. So they moved all the Tennogen from round 13 to the top of the in-game market when viewing it through the Tennogen tab. They tweaked the Rhino Grax skin to be more accurate to the Steam Workshop images. They removed the Oberon Blade of the Lotus shoulder armor from being equipable without purchase. They corrected the Ogun Hammer skin to the proper rotation on some of the weapons, and they fixed the Sildarg Syandana cloth materials clipping through its Syandana sword. As for the changes, damaged mods for some reason aren't called damage mods now, and are called flawed mods, because for some reason they couldn't just get rid of them and fix fucking over new players. Enemies in the Sacrifice quest will no longer drop items and resources. The Cetus star chart node will remain blue until you complete 1 bounty. They corrected an issue which caused particle systems to create excessive collision effects, and they also removed the Somachord fragments from spawning in the last mission of the Sacrifice quest. And they also made some Somachord and Mandachord changes as well. So all of your Mandachord songs will now appear in the Somachord in between your unlocked tracks and your locked tracks. And all of those Mandachord songs will now repeat for 10 loops, which are 80 seconds. They added a per song autoplay toggle to the Somachord, so right-clicking a song will now disable it from being in the autoplay rotation, and the song itself will be dimmed. But if you still want to play that song, you can just click on it and play it. The Mandachord tunes will also stop if you enter the market or the star chart. There's also controller fixes and base game fixes, so if you want to read them, boom, they're up on your screen. Now for console players who get stuck on logging in, or your game freezes or crashes, there has been 2 forum threads posted on the forums that go over a fix in case you need it. Also, the final thing for console players, the Twitch Drops campaign for the Sacrifice still hasn't got a date for when it will go live, so just keep your eyes on the forums, or just read the forum thread to know all the information that you currently need regarding the Twitch Drops campaign for the Sacrifice. So moving on to Twitter posts by the developers, you'll be able to create your own Sentinel in the Fortuna update, so for those wondering about that, yeah, you can. And I'm pretty sure these created Sentinels will look like the ones we saw in the art panel, which is what you're seeing on your screen. Now moving on to community highlights and fan art. First off, we have Funkamore with a Warframe Ash illustration, and it looks fucking sick. It's definitely my favorite out of this bunch. We then have Avara vector art by a turquoise gnome. We also have a collection of Warframe digital art by Vallis Now Wong. I couldn't be fucked trying to get that right. But it is from a Marvel-styled intro in Warframe's favor, which has been out for a while. Yeah, if you want to see the intro itself, I'll leave a link to that as well. We also have Aslar coming with a Warframe Fortuna poster. Mesa Prism by A Parting Phrase. And finally, a Harrow digital drawing by Sapphira Gilt Lightning. Anyway, that concludes this week in Warframe. If you found the video informative, make sure to leave a like. If you think I can improve upon the series in any way, shape, or form, make sure to leave it in a comment down below, as well as your thoughts on anything that I talked about here today. Of course, there is links to everything that I talked about in the description down below, and for future reference, there is, of course, timestamps. Also, if you missed out on last week's really shit episode, you can click the annotation on the screen right now. It'll take you right to it, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.